You might have done therapy, read all of the self-help books, listened to the amazing podcasts, and you know why you do what you do, but you still do it. You still send the text. You still struggle with the really, really tough conversations, and you still stay too long in relationships that you know have passed their expiry date. And today I really want to talk about why and also what to do to change it. Because I know that so many women, especially if you can identify as the high achieving woman, you want to be excellent at everything. You want to give your all. You want absolute perfection, and you hold yourself to a high standard. And yet still somewhere along the line, you lost the sense of confidence within yourself and this inner self-trust and unwavering faith in your future and what you actually can create in your life. And the first thing that I want to step into is talking about journaling and therapy, because both of those things are good, but fundamentally they're still keeping you, and I see this in so many women that I work with, they're still keeping you at the level of your mind. So you still find yourself constantly processing and wondering and going down the rabbit hole of why. Why do you still keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Or why do you still find your relationship challenging, or you don't feel met or fully seen? Or even why are you avoiding dating, right? Any type of avoidance or any type of pattern that keeps on ruminating, I see so many women keep asking themselves, why do I keep doing this? Or why do they keep doing this, right? You find yourself in these interactions and you play your part, and you know that you're playing a part in this as well. The thing with journaling and therapy, it's good to get to that level of awareness, because we need the awareness, because we can't intervene in a world that we cannot see. We fundamentally need to be able to see how we're showing up, and we need to see how it's making us feel, and we need to feel how it's making us feel. And we also need to be able to not break down and analyze other people's behaviors, but we want to be able to see what people are doing and see what people are offering and see what things that they are doing that we don't like and that we do like, right? We need that ability to be super insightful. And journaling and therapy is great for unpacking all of that. Yes to the unpacking. Yes to looking at all of the details. But the problem lies when we're consumed by the details. When we go into the details and we stay in the details, and ultimately we stay in the story, the analyzing, the theorizing, everything, which I know for women who have that sense of needing high achievement and wanting high achievement. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if it's coming from a place of internal like fire and zest for yourself versus it coming from a survival based pattern. But the thing is, it keeps you really well inside of your intellect. And if you're listening to this, you're probably a super intelligent woman and you know a lot of things, and you're even probably encouraged by many people in your life of like, how much awareness do you have, or how knowledgeable you are, right? And how wise you are. And insight without body practice is literally simply just going to stay on the paper. It is literally going to stay in your journaling notes, and fundamentally you won't create the changes that I know you want in your relationships. You want to be met, you want to feel connected, you want to be able to be intimate. You don't want to feel in fear of really showing yourself or being seen in your truth, right? Activating what is really, really alive for you rather than avoiding it or running away or fawning, right? Fawning and just being the woman that is okay and fine with whatever, when truly that is a mask for, I just want to be accepted and I want to be seen as cool and easy and not too high maintenance, when really you do have high maintenance, and that's okay, right? As long as the higher maintenance isn't a fortress wall against letting someone in, and actually it's like, yo, these are my standards and I'm upholding them because I am the standard and I hold my own standards. And if you want to meet me here, great. If you don't, I'm willing to walk away, you know? And I do find that women are challenged with walking away from any kind of connection, even if the connection doesn't feel truly, truly deep and meaningful, and it's not the full spectrum of connection that you really, really want, but there's this much connection. So you'll take it, you'll go with it, and you will ultimately, you'll settle for less because it's something. Versus, I know so many women, they want the full depth range of a relationship. They want it all. And I think one of the bigger things is having a relationship with it all also involves having a relationship with challenge. And challenge, often cleverly disguised as conflict. And again, there's nothing wrong with conflict. We just need to be able to have the capacity and the ability to be able to move through challenge in a way where actually you can strengthen your relationship with yourself and with someone else. And honestly, the women that I see in the work that I do that have broken free of this, they actually didn't learn more. They acted accordingly. And that's the thing that I see also so many women that are still stuck in the cycle of constantly fearing where they're going in their life, fearing how they're showing up in relationship, fearing what men think of them, fearing that they're too much or not enough, and just staying stuck in that cycle of the inability to really, really move away from the patterns of protection and the patterns of self-doubt and the patterns of self-criticism. The thing that women who've broken free of, they acted differently. Said another way, they basically changed their behaviors before they changed their thoughts. There's often a big kind of like gray cloud around like traditional psychology that we need to change our thoughts, like just think positive, or think your way to confidence, or think your way to love, and tell yourself in the mirror that you are lovable and you are kind and all of the things. And honestly, it's just a very great plaster, and it doesn't get to the root thing. Because deep down inside, living in your body, not at the level of the mind, your nervous system is scanning for threat. So if it thinks that relationships are a threat, it will try to protect itself inside of relationships, inside of dates, whatever the thing is for you. So women who've actually broken free actually changed the way that they showed up. This isn't fake it until you make it, though I know that, it could be dressed as that, but it's really stepping into full ownership of your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional range, and also the things that you willingly do. So for example, if you know that you send the text from reactivity, your job is to put your phone away, switch it off, give it to a friend, and then be with the energy of not sending the text. Be with the thoughts that come up. Then they might go wild. They probably will go wild, and you probably will feel a little anxious, because sending the text that you want to have like a big conversation with someone, or you want to send a text of opening up a conversation and sharing with someone like how you're feeling about him, right? All of that comes with like so much like energy. Now, more often than not, what women do is like, oh, I'm feeling all the anxiety, I'm just going to send the text, because they want to get the energy off of them. When actually the work is to simply be with the energy, because that energy is coming from you. It's coming from your fear of being abandoned, or your fear of the relationship not going in the direction that you want to do. So you're trying to control it. So you send the text because you want to find out, you need to know, right? But in actual fact, like if you actually just tended to the part of you that was trying to force something or trying to push something too soon, equally at the same time, this is a real game of discernment. Because the thing is, like, you can send a text out of anxiety and fear because you just need to know. And equally at the same time, there is a big part where, that anxiety and that fear and that needing to know, there's so many different layers and levels to it. There's so many conversations and ways of showing up in the relationship that have gone unsaid or undone. So maybe you haven't, inside of relationship or inside of connection with this man, maybe you haven't actually shared how you're actually feeling. So of course, when, it's easy to just send it in a text and avoid the interaction of human to human. because we're so well groomed now at being able to hide behind our phones. So it just builds up more and more anxiety. Having the hard conversations, taking those risks, choosing, what feels right versus what we think is right is often the more challenging work, because it comes with behavioral change. Most women get super stuck here, and their brain hijacks them into doing things that are in alignment with our bigger selves, our true selves, not the woman that is shrinking, or not the woman that is playing out a game of perfection or trying to be seen a certain way. We are really, really good at creating a strategy around all of the ways in which we want to be perceived, when in actual fact, life and men and relationships and true connection is really asking for us to show up in a way in which is deeply, deeply true. And that's going to look like vulnerability. It's going to look like sharing yourself and sharing tender parts and sharing tender truths and being really honest about how you're feeling without making the other person wrong or bad, right? That's when we get into big conflict, because we assume that the other person's going to make us feel better. Doing more talking, doing more reading, doing more research, doing more analysing, and doing more waiting. I see so many women be like, I'm just gonna wait for a little while before I look at this. I need to integrate from the last thing I did. And though there's some truth in being able to have space for ourselves, what's also true is if the results in our life are remaining the same, something inherently isn't working. Our approach isn't working. I just want to leave you with one thing to ask yourself from this podcast. And the main thing is centered around, what is the thing that you're avoiding to do? So I know most women right now, there is a conversation that isn't being had, that is ruminating on your mind, and you forget about it for a little while, but then it comes back in. What is that conversation that you know that you need to have, but you're too scared right now to have it? And what is the big thing, right, in your life? And it could be a relationship that you know that you need to walk away from, or a relationship that you want to actively step into, but you're not making any effort. What is the one thing in your life right now that you know that is a really, really big desire on your heart, and you are fundamentally putting time and space in between even thinking about it or exploring it or taking the necessary steps to make that desire happen? I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would love a 5-star review and would really appreciate a comment as well, so that I can connect with you. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, please hit subscribe here.